Okay, people, here is what I have been promising you for the past 2 or 3 hours. People, first of all, today is a sad day for me. I mean, my friends, somebody who I consider to be my friend, Cheryl, my children call her Auntie Cheryl, and her children call me Auntie Shirley. Her daughter Patricia had an accident in Miami, Florida today. And when I heard of it, I just, my daughter first called me. My daughter Didi called me and said, "Mommy, did you hear? Did you hear? Did you hear? Auntie Cheryl's daughter Patricia had an accident in Dominica. She's in intensive care unit and blah, 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 blah." And I started, to feel really anxious and whatever. I started getting those memories where Patricia, as a baby, with her mother, used to come to my home in La Plaine, and how we were all be one big family. And I called Nation, and as of 30 minutes ago, everything is okay. She's stabilized. She's doing well. Everything is okay. Cheryl, my heart goes out to you. I know how you feel. I know how you feel. It is, this day will culminate, as they call it, with the anniversary of one of our saddest day in Dominica's history. Tonight, people, tonight, I want to begin my presentation with a quote, a profound, powerful quote by Eustace Thomas. I am never ever going to call Eustace Thomas father again. He is Eustace Thomas for me. Eustace Thomas said in 1979, people, strive to unite all Christians. If you accept a corrupt government, you too are corrupt. Eustace Thomas said that in 95. And where is Eustace Thomas today? Eustace Thomas is the facilitator, the apologist, and the enabler of a super, super, super corrupt government. No farther from me, Eustace. You are a member of the Dominican mob. Pope Francis, if Pope Francis should hear about you, you would be treated the same way he treated this other scumbag who took 40 million, how many millions, to build a mansion. You are no better than him. Eustace Francis, I have no respect and no regard for you. You are one of the people in my books who you are a traitor to Dominica. So people, today was the 1979 to now. My son was born the same year. He was born in March, and this thing occurred in May. So I should know my son's age, but whatever anniversary of that riot that Eustace Francis, Charles Severin, Parry Bellot as the main the main they were the main people who caused what was caused in Dominica in 1979. I remember it, people. I remember it. They do not want you to remember it. They have whitewashed it. They have tried to erase the historical evidence of what occurred, what actually occurred, and they have revised the history. They have revised the history. But thank God, there were eyewitnesses. There were people who saw with their own eyes and heard with their ears what actually occurred. I, Shirley Allen, used to support Labour Party at the time. And my son, he was born in March, April, May. My son was only 3 months, but when there was action in town, I was there. I was there too. I was there. I was not really in it, but I experienced a little bit of it. And people, it was a horrible time in Dominica. And who instigated it, who caused it, who were the main culprits: Eustace Thomas, Charles Severin, Parry Bellot. Do not forget Parry Bellot and the role he played in his newspaper. There were others, of course, but they were the main culprits. They were the main culprits. People, I have a whole lot of documents about what occurred and the newspaper clippings and everything that happened prior to this fatal day and on this fatal day and after this fatal day. People, do not depend on Lennox Honeychurch for the account of what happened on that day. Blessing said today that Lennox Honeychurch was writing Dominica's history with a ready pen right now. But at the time of all these things, he was writing Dominica's history with a green ink pen. I have a lot of clippings, like 30 of them and everything. But I cannot go through all of them tonight. But I think, people, I think we need to revisit this historical account as presented in Lennox Honeychurch's The Dominica Story. We need to revisit it, and the documents have to be corrected. It is not accurate. it is not accurate. It is written in green ink, and the rest of Dominica's history from 2000 onwards is going to be written in red ink. And this is not acceptable. This is not acceptable, people. The history has to be accurate so that the generations who come after us will know exactly what happened and who is responsible for what happened. As I said, I have a whole lot of documents, like 30 of them, thanks to my friend, whose name I will not mention at this point. But I chose two of them, because I don't want my videos to be too long. And I chose the two because I find them to be two very significant pieces. Dominicans, the Dominica story, account of what happened, tells you that Patrick John resigned. He did not. I remember, I remember, I remember, I was young, but I remember very clearly that up to the very end, Patrick John and Vic Revere saying that they will not resign, and they never resigned. But your official historical account tells you that Patrick John resigned. We need to correct this. Another flaw, I don't know why, but it is also flawed. Philip Timothy was not killed by the Defense Force. For the very least, Lennox Honeychurch could have said it was inconclusive. His manner of death was inconclusive. But instead, he told you that he was killed by the Dominica Defense Force. People, I don't know what they did with the records, but you should ask. You should ask to get back into these records, the autopsy and the results of the investigation and everything. We need to revisit this history, people. So I just chose two of the articles to focus on tonight. And one of them, I'm having a problem with my eyes. This thing is so small. I'm going to try my best. If I make any mistakes, people, it's because this print is so small. You see it? And I'm getting old, so I'm getting some little eye problems. PM reigned for 230 days. So that was when they were writing to the New Chronicle, because, you know, what purpose the New Chronicle served in all this. So, even at the risk of being accused of blowing my own trumpet, our society makes this inevitable. I need, in the interest of history, but more particularly for the glory of God, to record two public statements which I made during the past 10 years, and which, in the light of recent revelations, has proved to be pathetic. The first was at Loda during the Miss Charles' first election campaign against Patrick John, who was also attending for the first time for the Roseau North seat. Standing, sorry. As it was then known, and which included Loda. At a meeting of the Freedom Party in that village one Sunday morning, after a mass conducted by Father Gillard, I ended my speech there with the following. Ladies and gentlemen, in the coming elections, the forces of evil in this country are marshaled behind Oliver Leblanc and the force of good behind Eugenia Charles. The forces of evil behind Edward Oliver Leblanc and the forces of good behind Eugenia Charles. Choose any side you will, and may God help you. The second was during the 1977 CSA strike, when at another meeting of the Freedom Party, this time at Shoplin, Goodwill, speaking about Dominica's approaching independence, I stated as follows. If Patrick John were a good captain, he would pay for a draw in this independence cricket match because he cannot win. All Patrick understands about this independence business is that he will be Dominica's first prime minister. And so his eyes are fixed on the history book. Analyze, people. Analyze, analyze. What he does not see is the fact that the same history book will record his reign as the shortest by any prime minister in the British Caribbean Commonwealth. The forces of evil have played such havoc in our land that only time will adequately measure and record. Patrick John's regime was abruptly brought to an end by a historically and unparalleled revolution after a 230 days. I glorify God. The fact that today many people in Dominica know and understand that God speaks through us. God speaks through us. As also he does act through us in so many ways. That was Star Lestrade who said that. And somebody replied to Star Lestrade. So, the new chronicle must be complimented by all Dominicans for the vital role it has played in the re-establishing of democracy in our country. It is because of the many truths that has been brought out that the doctor, the colonel, Patrick John, and Elias Leo the Lion decided to shut it up. As far as they were concerned, there should have been no freedom of expression. You see, the same freedom of expression that they feel is illegal in Dominica, they were hailing it in 1979. The same players, scum like Eustace Francis, Charles Severin, Parry Bellot, and the rest of them. But little did they know, as usual, the people were forgotten. But the people decided that they could take no more. Enough is enough. Is it deja vu, people? Is it deja vu? Is it deja vu right about now. The people cannot take it anymore. Enough is enough. And whose side these players are on right now? The corrupt, the same corruption that they detested in 1979. They are part and parcel of it. They facilitate it, they glorify it, they enable it, they justify it. This is why I call them scum. Therefore, instead of succeeding in stifling the people's freedom of expression, instead of stifling the people's freedom of expression, they were toppled out of office and have become wanted men. Instead of stifling the people's freedom of expression, they have been toppled and become wanted men. In this light of the truth and goodwill of the people of Dominica, I hope that the New Chronicle will continue to be a watchdog to government to come. The truth has one road. Long live the Chronicle. And that was some Bopier guy who wrote that. You know, people, people, I mean, tells, this speaks volumes. I have another article here from the main man himself, Charles Severin. Oh, Charles Severin. But I do not want to make this video too long. It's already 22 minutes. So, Charles Severin, I'll take you on your own because I think there's a lot, there's enough to take you on your own. So, tomorrow, Charles Severin, I will deal with you. Tomorrow.